The annual defence production has soared to an all-time high figure of rupees 1.50 lakh crore in the financial year 2024 to 2025. The milestone represents a robust 18% growth of over the last year's output of 1.27 lakh crore. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has lauded the collective efforts of the Department of Defence Production and all stakeholders. He termed the upward trajectory as a clear indication of India's strengthening defence industrial base. Defence public sector undertakings and other PSUs accounted for approximately 77% of total production, while the private sector contributed 23%. The share of the private sector, which increased from 21% in fiscal year 2023 to 2024 to 23% in this fiscal year, reflecting the sector's growing role in the defence ecosystem of the country. The overall production of the DPSUs and private sector has increased by 16% and 28% respectively in this fiscal year 2024 to 2025. This record-setting achievement underscores the growing momentum of government's push to self-reliance in defence manufacturing under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. The emphasis to reduce the dependency on imports and create a defence industrial complex has showed positive results. And we are being joined by our correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh on this news. Shubhendu, it's a great news that our defence manufacturing capability has reached this milestone. It's something that the world has rarely seen countries achieving this kind of a pace in such short span of time. So how do you see this development?
That's right, Akshay. We see that India's strategic ambitions and industrial competitiveness in the defence sector has shown positive convergence in outcome. 150,000 crores worth of defence production, 18% increase from the previous fiscal is a significant milestone for India's defence sector. And some of the positive points in the ecosystem, if we were to look at what was traditionally seen as the bastion of the public sector enterprises, we see a growing role of private enterprises, of startups we know in the past few years in particular, also their share increasing from 21% to 23% in a year's time. And that's a significant uptake how the private sector is participating in the rise of India's defence sector and defence production in particular. We also have to see that all of this really boils down to the fundamentals, the policy reforms by the Modi government in the past 11 years, from ease of doing business to very conscious indigenization of defence production, of defence equipments. And not just that, we have to see that apart from meeting the strategic aspirations of India's defence sector, India is also looking to make space for itself in the exports market. Defence exports, as you also mentioned, the figures have also increased significantly last fiscal, showing a figure of upwards of 23,000 crore rupees worth of export, which is about a 12% rise from the previous fiscal. If you see in its entirety, past 11 years of the Modi government, 34 times the exports has risen, moving towards the larger goal of about 50,000 crore rupees worth of exports by the end of this decade, by 2029-30. So it's a significant momentum that the defence sector has maintained. And earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi giving reference to Operation Sindoor and the manner in which a key role was played by indigenous technologies in India's defence. So we see India's defence production action both in the factories and out there in the battlefield as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Shubhendu, for that rounded perspective. You're right. From aircraft carriers to missiles to tanks to the advanced drones that we are using can all be manufactured in India that can be used and can be exported as well.